Hello everyone, welcome back. In the previous several sections, we have developed the admin portal part as well as some of the backends to provide the API resources. And we can see how Angular 2 can be leveraged and used as the front end to communicate with the backend, uh, which provides the REST API resources. And we use the Angular material framework, which is still under development to develop that. Okay, so that's pretty much just for preparing the front end part. I mean the storefront part of our bookstore. So in this lesson, we'll start to work on the storefront part. Okay, so here is the quick layout for our storefront. And this is from my other project, other course, the complete e-commerce, and which uses a Timeleaf as the template engine. Then use the Spring Boot as the backend, plus Hibernate, MyCircle, and etc. So the difference between these two architectures again is one is tightly coupled. So the Timeleaf and the Spring Boot Spring Framework are tightly coupled together, but for our Angular 2 as front-end work, it's more flexible because they're separated, they're decoupled. Okay. So the reason I provided those two courses is just to show you, the differences, different approaches, and the pros and cons of the two. Okay. And those are pretty much the two big architectures for some e-commerce website right now. Especially the REST service ones are getting more popular. Okay. Now come back to our storefront. We got a couple of components that we need to develop. Okay, like user can log in, sign up, create new account, log in, and forget a password. As well as after the user has been signed in, he can, view his profile information, check his order history, view some of the orders, and the billing address. He can add, the billing method, as well as the shipping method that he can add. And then he can browse books, different books, and he can click on to view a book and add a book to cart, choose different quantities, let's back to a book list and choose a different book, add to cart, and then go to his shopping cart. You can modify the quantity, and you can check out, fill out information as he wants. Use this one as the one. Okay, looks like something error here, but no worries. You can fill out information for shipping address, payment information, and same as shipping address, review items, and you can place orders. Oops. Alright, there's something wrong with the credentials for my email. So that's not because of the source code, it's just the configuration for the email password. Username password has been changed. But anyway, so that's the basic components. We have more details to talk about in the future. But we're gonna start with our home page like this. And the way you usually develop a web application is that you have the layout, right, the front end part, and then you have the back end part. And a lot of times you want to start with the front end part, and then you work with the mockups. You can use some wireframe tools like something like that. So this is basically a very rough wireframe layout. A lot of times people who are dealing with requirements will discuss whether this is acceptable or not. And then there will be a mock-up team. Well, if the company is large enough, have a mock-up team, they will just create mock-up based on this layout. And then we have something similar to this, but whatever stuff here is static, okay? It's just markup. So that the UI team will have a sense what does it look like. And then UI team will start to code to get a layout of this. Also, they need to communicate with the backend to see what data they need. Or sometimes if it's backend driven, so the backend will tell the frontend that what kind of data they will provide to. So this is pretty much all like a communication thing between different teams. But from our perspective, we are pretty much developing both front and back end, right? Because we're full stack, which is cool. And full stack will be more challenging and more demanding in the market. And the way we approach this design is that we have this something similar to this in mind, right? And we know that they're gonna be built from different components, and we should have that in mind as a big picture. Sometimes you will know the roadmap in the very beginning, sometimes not. So if you don't know the roadmap, you take some exploration and try and error thing. But the basic approach is that you want to have different components, and you want to have the static page first, and then you try to create dynamic pages and fill with the real content. And for this one, suppose this is a static front end page, and we're trying to come up with component with that. How do we actually do that? Well, so this is a home page, right? We can make a home page as a component, and in order to develop the home page like a GUI like this, we can just divide that into different parts. This could be one part, okay? Some image and carousel components, and another image, and then we have another part. Just 3 images stack up. Put side by side. Then we have another part. And a lot of times we have this, top navigation bar fixed, and the bottom, footer fixed. So when you go to different pages, navigation bar and the footer, they're pretty much fixed. It's just content between changes. Okay. So that's pretty much for the introduction, and we can start to work on the home component in the next lesson. All right. I'll see you guys in the next video.